Welcome to Breakout and Conquer. I am your host, Latoya, and today we are deep diving into the think tank. A lot of us all have 9 to 5s, and we have this drawer full of dreams that we have put like on elf on a shelf. We put our dreams on hold. We haven't done the things that we said we wanted to do, and we don't necessarily know where to start with this business. Now, if you are someone who is looking to start a brand and you're not sure what to do, what ideas are working, I want to offer you what I call the think tank, the observer approach to life. And when you're thinking about what problems you can solve, there's two things I want you to scale. I want you to first think about what you're currently good at, right? So let's just say you're really good at being a singer, right? I am a singer. Great. Can I monetize this? Yeah, you possibly can. So, first, when you're looking at coming up with a business idea or something you can monetize, whether it's as a full fledged business, a side hustle, another earning stream, however you want to present, there are plenty of ways that I want you to start looking at ideas to get you excited about the possibilities of turning either something you love or being an observer of life and finding an idea and making it turn into something that you can make money off of, right? Eventually, our goal for everyone, we either want to retire early or not work a job at all and do something that we actually love so that we can take back our time that we spend working for someone else. Not that that's a bad thing, because that's not a bad thing to work for anybody, right? But our ultimate goal is to be able to have back our time because working for someone else ultimately means that we're selling our time for money and we could be using that time for other valuable things that we want to do in our life to propel our personal goals instead of trying to propel someone else's dreams. Because ultimately, when we're working, we skip the best time of the day to our employer, right? We help them fulfill their dreams and their strategies and help them grow by giving them our time. So another reason why thinking about the think tank in this way is it starts looking at the world in a way of what skills I have that I can use to make money, or what ways could I be an observer of life and figure out what these things around me or problems I can solve to make money. So, today we're going to be talking about being an observer of life. And I've learned as I grow and as I start looking at other businesses, business owners, and what I'm seeing as a pattern is that they're solving a problem. Now, when you become someone of an observer and less of a consumer, and you stop and you don't think about your consumption, but you look at the world in a way of, I'm going to take in and I'm going to observe the things around me, and I'm going to find ways to solve problems, whether it's with a product or with a service. So when you start thinking like that, you're becoming innovative, right? It keeps the brain juices flowing with innovation. You're looking at the world in a way to solve problems. And when you switch your mindset from being a consumer and someone who is into consumption, and you start thinking about stopping, being in center, and being an observer of life, you're going to start looking at things that you can do to solve problems. And the more problems you can solve, you naturally will start gravitating to innovation and entrepreneurship just naturally, right? When you think about these big companies, as I started looking at them and studying, what are these big organizations doing? Like, why are we not doing that? And I started figuring out, okay, let me study 3 or 4 major companies. And then I look at, well, what are these companies offering, right? What problem are they solving? Let's just say Amazon, for instance. You think about a big conglomerate like Amazon and you think, well, why are they shopping from Amazon? And you think, what problems does it solve? Well, convenience, right? When you think about Amazon, think about convenience. So when you start looking at things and you're studying and you're doing your research to come up with your own ideas for innovation, think about what your competitors are doing, right? Or just think about what the marketplace is doing. So, for an example, we talked about Amazon. What does Amazon offer that helps people? It's convenience, right? It's customer service, right? You can have a product, you can buy anything from them, from dish detergents to tools and garden kits to, toys for your kid's birthday party, right? You can buy everything in one spot, right? So Amazon helps with convenience, right? You think, okay, shipping is relatively soon. Okay, check. It is convenient, right? People are buying products because they can get everything they need, one, and then they're able to get it at their door conveniently within 24 hours, sometimes same day if you ordered early enough in the morning. So when you think about these companies, the reasons they're so successful is that they were able to observe, right? Not consume. They were looking to solve. And they positioned themselves to think about what that consumer, the person who is consuming, the consumption, the person who is wanting more, more, more. And they looked at it and says, here's this consumer and I'm going to figure out how to make this consumer's life easier by offering them conveniences, right? That's the reasons why most of these companies become big conglomerates because they are solving problems. So when you're thinking about getting out of your 9 to 5 and positioning yourself to be an entrepreneur, solopreneur, someone who's earning additional streams of income, you have to not think about yourself, but look at the world around you and think about what problems you can solve. And when you start shifting your mindset to the skill of problem solving, um, the money starts to flow because people will pay for anything if it's helping them. And it sounds selfish, I know, but people pay and they don't put value on something that solves a problem for them. Okay. So always look at the world, and when you're coming up with ideas of just things that you can solve. And you have to think outside the box, right? Because sometimes you may come up with an idea that has never been done yet. So it may seem like, oh, this is just far fetched. Just think about Uber, right? They cut at a company and you said, I'm going to get a bunch of people to drive around and drive people to here and there, wherever they need to go. And we're not going to use our own cars. The people who are driving are going to use their own personal properties to do it. So at first it seems a little far fetched. But it works because it solves problems. It offers conveniences for people. So really look at what these big conglomerates are doing and figure out ways that you can be a problem solver because ultimately business is about solving problems or offering a service. And a problem can be emotional. Don't get it twisted because you can be a person who solves a problem that is emotional. I need to feel something. I need to feel this. If you're solving someone's emotional problem, it's an emotional problem, whatever. You're solving a problem nonetheless. So think of it as being an innovator and getting these ideas out there and trying them and testing them and talking to people who you offer the service to, right? And then asking questions. Well, what did you think about the service, right? Did it help you? How did you feel about it? Ask questions. Become intuitive, right? Become curious about the experience of that person's problems you just solved. So when you start asking questions and getting curious, or even just observing how whatever you offered or whatever product you offered made them feel, take note of their body language, their expressions. Do they seem happy? Like all of this information is valuable insight. So if you have friends and family around you and you have this idea, why don't you start brainstorming, right? Come up with the idea, solve a couple people's problems around you, and then ask them questions, particularly how did it feel? Gauge their expressions, gauge if there's an emotional response to it. Are they happy? Are they excited? Feel that information out and then store it, because here is where you, in the think tank of mindset about thinking of the world as an observer, will make you naturally become wealthy, right? Because you're solving problems. We all want our problems selfishly to be solved. So I hope this episode has been helpful to you. I want you to start an exercise with me, right? Let's start looking at the world from a different lens, not as a consumer, but as someone who is an observer, and start thinking about everything around you as what problem can I solve? And that is a great process that opens you up to innovation and ways that you can make someone else's life easier. So thank you for watching. I'm your host, LaToya, and stay tuned to Break Out and Conquer, where we take you from ordinary to extraordinary, right? Here, I want you to know that the possibilities are endless. All you need is strategy, daily habits, and some consistency, and you can achieve the unthinkable. Trust me. I feel like an example of that. I am living my life in a way that feels authentic, and I am very much dead center in alignment with what I think I should be doing. And I really want you to feel that sense of freedom with living a life that feels authentic to you. And I want you to be able to solve problems, because ultimately that's what we're here for. We're a community to help solve problems, right? Stay tuned. We have plenty more videos to go, and I thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Thanks.